song, Mind on You. This is George Birge right here.
I got my mind on you and you on my mind.
It was number one a couple weeks ago. He's on the phone with us now. George, we were talking about you because there's a picture that you posted on Instagram. It was you and Toby Keith and Post Malone, yet you didn't really call them out by name, and we just wanted to know how that all came together, and how come you never told us you knew Post Malone?
That was one of the coolest nights of my life. It was one of my first nights out on the Toby Keith tour. That was the first tour I had ever been on, like big tour-wise. So just meeting any of those guys was like the biggest deal ever for me. And it was Toby's birthday party that night. We were in Virginia Beach, and Post is a huge Toby Keith fan and a huge country music fan. And he was just starting to get some success. So like he had blown up, but I actually at the time didn't really know who he was. And so we had finished our set, and Toby tapped me on the shoulder as he was going on stage. He's like, "Hey, man, hang around tonight. We're going to have a little party after the show." And when Toby Keith says that, you figure it's going to be something. And so he would have these little tailgate areas outside of his bus, and so we kind of went and sat in the lawn chairs outside his bus, and he walked off stage, and I had my agent sitting next to me, and he taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, man, that's Post Malone walking up." And I only listened to country music, and this was a few years back before Post became like biggest artist in the world. And so I was like, "Man, who's Post Malone?" And he ends up telling me that, he's, turning into one of the biggest artists in the world, and he was fresh off a tour with Justin Bieber. And so we end up all kind of hanging out and talking to Toby. And behind him, what you can't see is Toby's like, "Hey, man, I brought a couple other friends out here with me tonight. Boys, this is SEAL Team 6. And so it was SEAL Team 6, Eric Pasley, Post Malone, Toby Keith, and me, and we went on Toby's bus and passed the guitar around until about 4 o'clock in the morning. One of the coolest nights of my life.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Did Post Malone grab the guitar?
Second night of ever touring.
Did
I was like, "Is this what playing music is like forever?"
Did Post Malone grab the guitar and play as well, like in the guitar little pool?
He did. He played Kansas City Blues. He played some Randy Travis. He played some Merle Haggard. He blew me away with his knowledge of country music. Yeah, it was really, really cool.
It was the ultimate flex from George Birge, who's on with us.
Oh,
because
for sure.
He just wrote, "Wild throwback, couple kids talking to Toby outside his bus." Doesn't even say it's Post Malone. And it's Post Malone very young. So it's like, if you know, you know, but I don't need to tell you.
Yeah.
You know who that is.
He didn't even flex. It's not a George Birge flex. It's just him going, "It's a cool picture." And I don't know. You look and see what it is.
How long ago was that?
Golly, that had to have been probably 7 years ago.
Dude, George looks like a baby
He looks
in that
12,
picture.
12 years old. Yes. And he's got a red solo cup, so I don't want to ask because he looks 12. But
Yeah.
well, that's really cool. Well, that's all we wanted to bother you about. We just saw the picture and wanted to know what that night was like with you, Toby Keith, Post Malone, and, well, now SEAL Team 6. That's pretty awesome.
I will say that Post Malone is a big fan of country music, and we're a big fan of him. He was as cool a dude as you'll ever meet. He does smell like beer and cigarettes, but in like the most refreshing way, I guess.
That's funny.
He was such a nice guy. I loved hanging with him.
All right, buddy. Hey, have a good morning. See you soon.
All right, see you, fellas.
All right, there he is, George Birge. Here's his song, "Mind on You."
I got my mind on you.
Thank you guys for hanging out. All right, Bobby Bones Show.
It's a Bobby Bones Show.